analysis and multimodality. Good afternoon. Mediated discourse analysis and multimodality. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll continue with mediated discourse analysis and multimodality. This topic explores how actions, tools, and contexts work together to create meaning in real communication. Overview and purpose. This chapter connects speech events and multimodality. It focuses on how discourse is mediated by tools and actions. In other words, we move from language-based meaning to multimodal meaning. What is mediated discourse analysis? Mediated discourse analysis, or MDA, was developed by Ron Scollin and later expanded by Rodney Jones. It studies social action instead of language alone. The main idea is that meaning is produced through the connection between discourse, tools, and social practices. Core concepts of MDA. There are 3 key concepts. First, action. Purposeful human activity that happens in a real context. Second, mediation. How tools or technologies carry and shape meaning. Third, tools. Both physical things and symbolic systems that help us communicate. Affordances and constraints. Theory. Every tool has both affordances and constraints. Affordances are what a tool allows people to do, and constraints are what it restricts. This helps us understand how technology shapes people's behavior and identity. 50 ways to leave your lover. This idea comes from Ilana Gershon's research on digital breakups. She found that each medium, text, call, or face-to-face, creates different affordances and constraints. For example, a text message offers control and distance, but reduces empathy. In short, the medium shapes both action and moral meaning. Based on Jones, 2012, page 133 to 134. Cultural tools for breaking up. This table compares different tools people use when ending relationships. For example, face-to-face talks allow emotion but are difficult. Text messages give control but lack warmth. Each medium changes how people act and how they interpret meaning. Adapted from Jones, 2012, page 134. Social practices. When mediated actions are repeated over time, they become social practices. These practices reflect shared norms and habits in a community. For example, using emojis, hashtags, or likes are now common social practices online. Sites of engagement. A site of engagement is the moment when an action, a tool, and a context come together. It's the point where meaning is made. For instance, when someone clicks Buy Now, their intention meets the technology to create a new social action. Nexus of practice. A nexus of practice is a network of overlapping social practices. Different actions influence each other through shared tools and contexts. For example, students writing on Google Docs combine writing, teamwork, and digital skills. These overlapping practices create new ways of working and learning. Doing MDA, analytical steps. Doing MDA involves 5 steps. First, identify a mediated action. Second, observe the tools and context. Third, analyze the social practices involved. Fourth, Locate the site of engagement. Finally, interpret how meaning develops and changes over time. Case illustration. Buy with one click. This case, called Buy with One Click, shows mediated action in e-commerce. The Buy Now button acts as a tool that creates speed and convenience but reduces reflection. It combines tools, affordances, and social practices to show how design shapes our behavior. Jones, 2012, page 135 to 136. Implications of MDA. MDA connects language with real social action. It shows that meaning is not just in words, but in the actions people perform using tools. This theory can be applied to education, digital media, and discourse analysis in modern communication. Chapter 9. Analyzing multimodality. Now we move from mediated discourse analysis to multimodality. MDA focuses on how actions construct discourse, while multimodality studies how multiple modes combine to make meaning. What is multimodality? Kress and Van Leeuwen introduced the concept of multimodality in 2001. They say that meaning is made through multiple modes, not just language. For example, in visual communication, images, gestures, and sounds all contribute to meaning. Modes and modal affordances. Each mode offers different ways of making meaning, called modal affordances. Speech conveys tone and emotion. Images show space and feeling. Figure C 9.3 in the book illustrates how speech, gesture, and gaze work together in a tutoring session. Mediated discourse analysis and multimodality. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll continue with mediated discourse analysis and multimodality. This topic explores how actions, tools, and contexts work together to create meaning in real communication. Overview and purpose. This chapter connects speech events and multimodality. It focuses on how discourse is mediated by tools and actions. In other words, we move from language-based meaning to multimodal meaning. What is mediated discourse analysis? Mediated discourse analysis, or MDA, was developed by Ron Scollin and later expanded by Rodney Jones. Its